Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Jessie. I knew that I didn't show up for a long time because recently I was up to my neck, dealing with my work. Recently, it is off the peak season for auditing industry. So anyway, I have more leisure time is talking about the tax issues. Anyway, I'm back. So today I'm gonna talk about the tax issues probably in other countries, the typical country United States. Because somehow recently I read some comments about the tax issues in Western countries such as in Australia, in Canada. They have pretty high tax bracket. And as long as I am, the AICPA, United States Certified Public Accountant, thus I feel like I have some kind of knowledge to chit chat about, the tax in the United States. And I want to make a comparison between the United States and Hong Kong in terms of, the payroll tax issues. Because Hong Kong and New York City are both the financial center. One is in Asia, one is, anyway, in the whole world. And normally for those inhabitants living in those two places, they are more likely to get a higher payment than other places around the world. So I feel like it's necessary to compare the tax payroll issues in those two places, to give you a comparison about how low the tax can be in Hong Kong and how high the tax can be, in the United States somehow. And I think it's like a really constructive information for those who want to consider about settle down, live your life, and to work. So anyway, let's get started. My prerequisite assumption is that one single person not getting married, they earn like 130,000 US dollars, which is equal to approximately 1 million Hong Kong dollars per year. So this means that every month they're gonna earn probably 10,000 US dollars before tax. And if I translate into Hong Kong dollars, every month they earn like 80,000 Hong Kong dollars. For those people, they are middle income groups. So anyway, I want to target those people, to give you example about how much exactly you're gonna subject is to the payroll tax for the whole year. I remember if you ever watch my previous video, if you earn like this amount of money in Hong Kong and you have to pay like effective tax rate like no more than 10%. This means that you can get 90% of your annual income back. However, in the United States, how much you're gonna subject is to the payroll tax rate. Let's just get it straight. There is a federal income calculator as well, and we can use that, to get directly what exactly you're subject to. So we can input 130,000 household income or anywhere like this, and filing status is single. The location is 1001, that is New York City. So let's suppose that you can just make a IRA contribution like $6,000 US dollars. And since you are the only person in your family, let's see how much you are subject to. Well, it shows that you have to subject to 30% of tax in total. Including the federal tax, the effective tax rate is 15%. The federal insurance contribution, the FICA effective tax rate is 7.65%. The state tax is 5.24%. The local tax is 3.36%. To be honest, that is outrageously expensive, right? Because normally, compared to Hong Kong, normally you are subject to only no more than 10% of the effective tax rate. In the United States, you have to subject to more than 30% effective tax rate in total for your 130,000 US dollar annual income, which is equal to 1 million Hong Kong dollars income. I think there are foreign reasons why, the United States and Hong Kong, there are such huge differences. The first and most important reason is that in Hong Kong, there are miscellaneous deduction, which allowed you, to deduct your taxable income to a lower tax base level. So for example, in Hong Kong, you can deduct something like your MPF, monetary provided fund. You can also, pay something like qualified annuity premium, and you can deduct it as well. Every year, so you can deduct a certain amount of voluntary health insurance. You rent an apartment, and you pay for rental. And you have already bought an apartment, you have to pay the mortgage every year. So you can also deduct up to approximately 100,000 Hong Kong dollars per year as tax deduction, which is equal to approximately 12,000 US dollars as the deduction part. And also you have kids, you have dependent parents who are above 60 years old, or they are handicapped or something like that. You can also have a certain allowance to deduct. And every year in Hong Kong, they have a tax credit. Tax credits directly deduct tax payable, to the IRD. So anyway, this is quite a good bargain, right? But in United States, the situation is a little bit different. There are only a fewer deduction. In order to get your taxable income base, the largest part of your deduction is your pension contribution that you paid, such as your IRD contribution or your 401k contribution, something like that. So, for 1 year, so your total deduction for the IRD contribution is no more than $6,000 in the year 2022. And for the 401k, maximum deductible amount is $20,500. So there is no another, special deductible amount, so for the health insurance. If you are employed by the company and you are not self-employed, there is no extra deduction, for the qualifying annuity premium or something like that. There is no extra deduction for the, rental expenses or the home mortgage expenses. In terms of those normal adjustment, there is no such things like that. But there is something called itemized deduction. That is something that you can choose between the freebie deduction and itemized deduction. You can choose either of them. But normally, so for those medium income earners, the standard deduction or freebie deduction is already good enough. Itemized deduction is the target for those high earning people. So anyway, maybe just next time we'll talk about some details about, the United States payroll tax issues anyway. Not this time, but generally speaking, somehow United States, there is not so much deductions compared to miscellaneous deductions in Hong Kong. Second reason, in Hong Kong, there are more standard deduction part every year. You can deduct 132,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is equal to approximately 17,000 US dollars, per year as your standard deduction. For this part, it's just like the freebie part. No matter how much you earned, you can just deduct up to this amount from your annual income. But in comparison, in the United States, the freebie amount is slightly lower. In the year 2022, that is 12,950 US dollars. And the third most important reason why, in Hong Kong you're subject to less payroll tax, because the tax rate is lower. So in Hong Kong, you can choose between the progress tax rate and the standard tax rate. The standard tax rate is approximately 15%. Progressive rate increased from 2% to 70% for your initial 200,000 Hong Kong dollars. That is equal to 25,000 US dollars. Something like that. And also in Hong Kong, you are only subject to one single tax rate. That is the tax rate 15% for standard rate or the progress rate, something like that. It is one single tax rate you are subject to. But in the United States, at least you are subject to 4 types of tax, and the tax rate is way higher. So you are subject to federal tax, the state tax, the local tax, the FICA tax. FICA tax is just like something including the medical tax and the social security tax, something like that. That is something you paid to the society, allow the society, to coordinate this fund, to support and take good care of every single inhabitant in the United States. So anyway, that's something you are subject to. They also have the progressive tax rate, but the highest tax bracket, they are pretty high, up to the 37% for the federal tax rate. Let's say that's an example. So that is the reason that if you earn 130,000 US dollars per year, you are subject to almost 30% of the effective tax rate in total. Also, I just made a chart, to analyze the different income levels in the United States and to show, how exactly your effective tax rate is gonna increase or gonna change based on your annual income. So anyway, so we can see that if your annual income dominated in US dollar increased from 10,000 US dollars per year all the way to like 500,000 US dollars, who must be pretty rich. So in this way, you can see that the effective tax rate you're subject to increase from earning like almost nothing 2 at this level would be like 40%. For those median income level groups, you are subject to 30 to 35 effective tax rates. Then the effective tax rate is increasing at a slower growth rate. Once your income hit the amount of 200,000 US dollars per year, that is normally 1.5 million Hong Kong dollars per year. But actually, in Hong Kong, the situation is a little bit different. Tax that you are subject to is a little bit way lower. So maybe some people would ask about, whether in Hong Kong and in New York City, we're gonna just earn the similar amount of money. Probably in my next video, I'm gonna talk about that part as well. Because normally in the United States, maybe so you're gonna be able to earn more. You're gonna have more opportunities. So anyway, next time I'm gonna talk about further about this issue, especially for those people who want to consider about moving to Hong Kong from New York City or moving from New York City to Hong Kong, something like that. So anyway, this is the end of my video. So if you like my video, please thumb up. If you have any comments or questions, you are really welcome to leave a message. If you want to get to know more about the tax issues in Hong Kong and in other places as well, don't hesitate to subscribe me and ring the bell. You will never miss my updates. Thank you. Bye.